What's going on, guys? We got some questions expressing the desire to update foreign key attributes using attribute rule. So what they have is they're going to have a line feature like this, and there will be some sort of foreign keys pointing to the from or the destination junctions or edges, right? And this is basically maintained currently manually. So in this video, I want to explain how can we write attribute rules so that we can automatically populate the from and to of junctions or edges by basically from the act by just creating or updating the lines like that. So in this case, I just created a line between this point 1010 and 1011, and as you can see, those points are automatically updated based on the digitized direction. So how about we jump into the attribute rules and start authoring these attribute rules from scratch, and the code and the geodatabase will be available for you guys in the show notes. How about we jump into it, guys? Okay, so in order to achieve this attribute rule, we need to author two attribute rules. One that updates the from point or the from junction, and one that updates the to point or the to junction. And the way we're going to do it, like from the pseudocode of the act of writing this rule, is as we have the line geometry, we will take the first segment and then the first point from that segment, the starting point, and then we query the point class, find that that point or the junction, get the ID, and store it in the from point on the line. And the other rule will do exactly the same, but we're going to change one line of code where we're going to take the last segment of the line and the last point of the line. How about we start writing those rules? So we go to attribute rules and calculation. We're going to add a new calculation rules as that. So let's calculate from point, right? And all subtypes doesn't really matter. And the field here, we wanted to set it to the from field. And we want this attribute rule to execute on insert or on update. So how about we start writing this rule? So the first thing we need to do is get the geometry of the line, right? Which is the $sign feature. That's the geometry of the line. So the first thing we're going to get is the from point geometry of that line. And the way we do it is do g.path, and we're interested in the first segment or the first path, and we're interested in the first point of that path, because this could be a polyline, right? So that's the first thing we need to get. Once we get this geometry, the next thing we need to do is get the feature set of the feature set by name of the point class, which is in this case $sign.store. We're opening that class, which is called point. We're really interested only on the ID field, on the point. We don't really need the geometry back, so we can just say false. That's just to make the query more efficient. And all we need to do next is just get the actual from point. And the way we do it is to get the first feature of the intersect, because we're going to do an intersect, right, between the feature set that we just got and guess what, the from point geometry, because we're going to query the from point geometry and that feature set, and that gives us a feature. Okay, obviously this could be null because I don't know, we draw the line on the void, there is no from point. So if from point equal null, then this is up to you. What do you want to do? You want to fail the edit? You can fail the edit, right? Or you can just do -1, right? -1 just will store the value of -1, which means that there is no from point. Okay. Else we're gonna return from point dot ID, and that's it. Just like that, we have a valid script. We're gonna do the same thing. Add another one, just for what? Calculate 2 point. And guys, you might say, is there a way to do this in one rule? And you guys asked us for this, and we are planning to do this. We're planning to do this in future releases where you don't really need to do multiple rules just to update the same fields, right? Because sometimes you want a rule to update like 5 fields in the same feature that you're updating. And then today, unfortunately, you have to do this in multiple rules. So we're working on a way to do this with one rule using the dictionary object, obviously. Hopefully I've updated everything I need here. Let's do, yeah, I missed one thing. It's not T-point, it's 2-point. Let's analyze. Looks good. And, well, we forgot the most important thing. The most important line to change is we need to search the last one. And ArcGIS has this nice feature, just like Python, where we can slice to the end. And you can do the end by getting the count of the path and do -1. But this is even better. Doing -1 in ArcGIS will give you the last element in an array, which is pretty neat. So this is the last segment, and this is the last point of the segment, which correspond to the last point. So save, and just like that, we now have the rules. And when we try, let's go ahead and test this thing. Okay, between this and this, and just like that, between 2012 and 2013, 1012 and 1013. All right, guys. So if I create this in the middle, we're gonna get -1. But some of you might say, no, I don't really need -1. I need to fail the edit if that's bad, right? So how about we change the rule a little bit so it fails if there is no from on to. That's very easy to do. You can do a new dictionary here that we have for attribute rules called error message, right? And if you do error message, say no from point, we will know that, oh, you actually want to error, and we're gonna fail, right? And we're gonna do the same thing right here in the to side. If I can click, and we'll do the same thing here. The only thing we can change is no to side. Verify, save, and just like that, let's make sure our rule still works. If we are between two features, awesome. If I created, no, fails, no from point. So if I do it from point and there's no 2-point, I get no 2-point. If I have a from point but I don't have 2-point, I get this, right? No from point. Awesome. All right, guys, that's it for me today. You can obviously take these rules and run with it. You can apply them as batch, where you have existing data set with a lot of data and you want to fix all of that stuff or mark it as error. You can, for those, you can use batch or validation rule. For that, as of 2.6 and 2.5 and 2.6, you still need a branch versioning and a feature service to run them with their own inspector. But in the future releases, we're planning to do this in file GDB. By the way, it goes without saying, this is a file GDB that I'm testing on right now. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We're gonna bring you more cool videos like this about attribute rules. Stay tuned. Goodbye.